Well, good afternoon, everybody. It's Friday. I've just got home from work, and the postman's left me a little parcel, and it's the Lightness free. So I'm just gonna quickly go over it, quick sort of mini review of the features, because at St Hilaire, where it was released or announced, they didn't really go over all the features, and it was a bit sketchy. What's the inside like? You know, what's the speed system like? What's the back like, etc. So I'm going to go through that. The main difference between the Lightness 3 and the Lightness 2 is the hang points are 3 centimeters higher on the Lightness 3, making it more stable, apparently, and slightly more comfortable. But the geometry, the rest of the geometry of the harness is pretty much the same design-wise. The standard speed bag comes with an optional windscreen. The windscreen, I think, is about £35. I've got it in the other room. I haven't fitted it yet, but it looks good. The other difference is you can either go for the standard speed bag, and like I said, you got the optional windscreen, or you can have the lightweight speed bag. Now, with the lightweight speed bag, it will bring the whole weight of the harness down to pretty much the same or just below the weight of the L2. If you don't mind an extra 100 grams, then the standard speed bag, which is the same thickness as the L2, maybe a little thicker, I think it's the same thickness, but that'll bring it slightly higher than the L2, but that's not too much of a problem. 100 grams is nothing to me. I'm not, I can fly. If you really want to lose weight, you can remove the protection, and it's got two lots of protection. You got a semi-solid Sastec protection. It's a rubber board that makes it quite stiff at the back, and is what that does is it reacts to impact. So the harder the impact, the harder it becomes. So if you should have an accident and you fall back onto a rock, you're actually landing on a flat board rather than a pointed object. And then on top of that, you've also got your standard foam protection. The reserve system appears to be the same, and the bag seems to be the same size. So if you've got your reserve from your L2, it should all fit. If you're going to this harness from any other harness, remember this is a lightweight harness, you'll probably need a lightweight reserve to fit it in, and once you do fit it, do a couple tests just to make sure it does deploy properly. I've known people to install a standard reserve into a lightweight harness and struggle to get the reserve out on testing. So we'll start at the front. Same dome as the Lightness 2. Excuse me, because I'm just trying to look at the screen and film at the same time and talk. It's impossible. So moving on to the speed system. On the previous model, the L2, you had this line, and it was a continuous line, and you had 2 steps. On this one, you've got a nice bit of webbing to step onto, so your feet don't slide either side of the line. They're right in the middle, and there's no uneven applying pressure to one side of the speed system more than the other. It's retained into the bottom board at the center setting. There's a bit of elastic there. You can, if you want, move it to the left or the right, but center should be fine. And obviously these are the speed lines for the angle of the foot plate and the length of your pod, and they're easily adjustable. You've got these ball and loop, so you adjust this ball to your length, and then that slides up to the ball and stays there. Pretty simple. I've got yet to do that. I've got to hang in it and try it, or I might do it, or try and do it during flight, but I don't think that's possible. So moving on to under the seat compartment, it's still there. Same, it appears to be the same size as the L2, which is about 6 litre compartment. And then closure system. If you remember, originally on the L2 you had the little metal catch, and then they swapped it out for the ball and hoop. They've retained the ball and hoop closure system, and then you got this you know, 1, 2, 3, so you remember to close it, all coated red, so you can remember it's there. Leg straps seem to be wider apart on the seat board. I say seat board, there is no board, of course it's a hammock style harness. So it seems wider at these points. Whether that's just me, it probably is. They're probably the same. So hopefully it'll be a bit more comfortable. This padding here actually seems a lot better. It's a neoprene sleeve up to that point, and then the rest is the nice thin webbing that really cuts in. I was hoping they could improve on that, but a good setup harness, and you should be sat back here, and this shouldn't be interfering once you're in flight. The major difference that wasn't mentioned in all the buff on the internet is the P-tube. So if I can find it, this little red slot here is a channel. Rather than just having a hole straight out the bottom, you actually have a channel for your P-tube, so that you can then, it then prevents it from getting tangled up in all this. So simple channel that goes straight out the bottom somewhere. The other change to this is you got your standard pass-through buckles. Brilliant. Can't really get lighter than them, and they're as simple as hell. They're the most reliable buckles in my opinion, because they're not gonna just come undone. There's no mechanical no mechanics to go wrong there. And then just here there's a little clip that I haven't fitted it yet, but on your flight deck you got a little clip that clips into there, and that stops your instrument tipping forward or back, so it's in view of yourself all the time. Moving on to the flight deck itself, so you got the Velcro here as you normally do, and underneath there's a little slot just there that goes through to the compartment here, so you can have your battery, spare battery there, charging all your equipment as you fly along, or your headphones or whatever you want going through there. So that's a nice little feature. Still got your phone insert in this pocket to keep the shape, rather than well, I say rather than, I would have preferred a titanium rod or something in there to keep that shape, simply because after a year of packing or so, that does lose its shape, that phone. So going on to the front of the bag, there's a channel around here that your windshield fits into, and there's a couple poppers, one that side and one this side. And the you just simply undo the poppers, slide your windshield in, do one side first, then the other side, and it's what you do, you unzip it and just put your hands on that side and press down either side of the popper. As simple as that. Moving on to another change that they didn't mention, good or bad, I'm not sure. I don't think this was needed, but they've gone back to magnetic poppers like on the Impress 3 for the pockets. So you got your normal pockets on the side. There's the air intake for your inflated neck, which was it worked for me brilliantly. The reserve, I won't go through the reserve system, it's pretty much the same. Bombay doors, and the zip runs all the way up. Let's get the camera going. Sorry, the screen keeps on blacking out. So, mini chest strap, that's just to make sure that these are nice and firm on your shoulders. and the main changes are the back. So my pet hate about the Lightness 2 was the bottle. You had a pocket for the bottle and the bottle would flop over. Now you've got this nice little loop system, loop and toggle, so you can put that through the handle of your bottle and it will hang there, and you can adjust that up and down. And in this pocket here you got your SASTEC protection with the foam behind it, and as you can see there's a little sticker there, so that goes against that. It is removable, so if you're doing any cross country and you want to camp overnight and pack some extra equipment, you can do. Not going to do that back up. The other improvement that I want to go over that wasn't mentioned in the all the commercial stuff is the colour of the back. Now on the the Lightness 2, you look in the back to see what's in your harness and you couldn't see nothing. This is a nice green material, so it's easier to see what's in there. What's in there at the moment is the reserve bag and the cockpit, and there's that clip I was on about, so that's all good. This feels like paraglider fabric on the inside, so whether that's more fragile than the previous harness, I don't know. With the Lightness 2 there was a warning saying this material is light, handle with care. They've got it on this one as well here, and I found actually as long as you look after your equipment there's nothing to worry about, you know. Just don't go for big dragons and stuff like that. So that's the main changes. Well, hopefully this has helped you make a decision. If you're still unsure, hang around and wait until I've flown it, and I'll give my feedbacks on how it feels in flight. Please leave comments. Any questions, please ask in the comments box and I'll try and answer them. But yeah, it looks like a nice harness, well made as usual, what you'd expect from Advance, and yeah, look forward to flying it. See you next time.